Hey, good morning, people, and welcome to another edition of the Early Watch. And happy whatever fucking day of the week this is to everybody.
It's 21st. It's Thursday, but it's also the first day of spring, I was told.
No, that wouldn't be right. Because, there's no snow here. Uh, Sitting here with G Webs, who's hosting this for us. Thank you, sir.
That It's like we're in the 172nd day of the year. There are 193 days remaining. What happens when you type in June 21 in the internet?
Okay. The
Right.
internet is wonderful and all that, but sometimes the stuff that you discover is just fucking astounding.
Oh yeah,
And oftentimes has absolutely fucking nothing to do with what you're looking for.
never. Yeah, very rarely.
I see that, or I hear that Trump signed an executive order about this separation of children. Uh, I wonder what the hell the press is going to find a bitch about now.
Can you believe that he buckled under just a couple of days worth of pressure? What kind of backbone does he have? And he cares so much
Well,
about children now that we can't handle it. I don't,
well, it's,
we watched that Nuance Bro in here yesterday, right?
yes.
Yeah, I mean that's about the most I've seen about it. But if people are seriously that upset between that and then the like confusion over the protesting of the where the children are being kept, then yeah, people are they're all that they're
Well,
getting that.
make no mistake, they're not protesting about the kids. They're protesting because Hillary didn't win and Trump did.
Yes, that's exactly what I was trying to say.
I mean, there's several videos that popped up on my Facebook this morning of the Democrats talking about immigration stuff from a few years back, and hell, they were on the same page as Trump. So, I mean, they're clearly hypocritical and just bitching about shit to be bitching about it.
Well, I think it's really an indicator of that the press has no real conviction to the facts or the truth or whatever you want to call it, like getting the point across to people. They're just there to facilitate the argument, and they're willing to not scrutinize the argument to the point where, like you're saying, like it can be discovered, but you have to go find that information. It's not brought to you. But like here's the same old argument again from the same old players. Only this time they switch chairs.
Yep. It,
The worst part is that okay, the left side's complaining right now, and before they weren't complaining, uh, the other side's complicit with that, right? So that means that the last time, uh, the other side was just sitting around doing nothing. When now this time they're all up in arms. So you know what I'm saying? It's not just the ones complaining that are switch sides, but the ones who are complicit, or the ones that are just sitting there silently, have also switched. So they're both in on it.
well, the thing that sticks out to me that I've seen today is uh, Peter Fonda made a couple of tweets. One saying that Trump's son, the young one, should be locked in a cage with child molesters, and then he referred to that blonde woman on Trump's staff as a gash. Now, where the fuck is the calls for advertisers to boycott that son of a bitch? Fucking outcry on that one is just
Dad was famous.
silent.
His dad was famous, and he was in a movie that a lot of people like. So it wasn't as bad as if like Trump would have said gash.
Uh, the hypocrisy is just
It's on both sides, but it's apparent, and yeah, all these illustrate it. Just a matter of when people are going to say, "Oh," instead of just saying we see this over and over and over, realizing we're seeing it over and over and over, and then realizing that there's other options. You don't have to listen to that one thing.
Personally, on this separating the kids thing, I don't think it's the way to handle things at all. Uh,
You mean complying with their outrage this time around?
no, I mean the actual fact of separating the kids from their parents at the borders to incarcerate the parents for crossing illegally. I don't think that's the way to handle things.
Oh, so hold on. So I understood it that if the parents came across with kids and the parents were illegal, like, or I should say criminals, because I thought that meant they were like murderers or they were like, oh, we fingerprinted you and you're wanted for like 6 versions of bank robbery or something. Like in that case, the guy would go to jail because he's a criminal and just walked right into, going to jail. But you're
Oh no,
saying by walking across the border as just not Americans yet, they're saying, "Oh, you're illegal, so you're going to jail, but your kid's going to go over here."
yep.
Oh, okay, so now they want some kind of prisons that have like apartments in them made up, where if 3 or 4 people say they're a family, then they get to go in a little apartment together.
I reckon. I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know what a good answer is, to be honest with you.
yeah, because that just doesn't make no sense. I mean, number one, who gets to say, okay, so we're concerned of the welfare of the youngins. If a youngin and his mom or her mom walking across the border and some big bad mean guy says to him, "I'm your dad now." You know what I mean? Like if you say anything, I'll kill you or snap your neck or I'll have a phone call and kill your parents back home, whatever. You're my family now. That now every dude can just walk across with any free kids and family, or what if I'm going to kill your husband and now you're my family, and that just makes no sense. So when our work's supposed to be like social workers, and what is it called when you're like just the guy who helps out at a hotel, concierge or whatever, like
Concierge.
so sometimes the people at the border are supposed to be that guy, like, oh, you're not supposed to be here, so we're supposed to be real nice to you, you're not a criminal or nothing, you just broke the law walking across the border here, but we're going to make it easy for you, but now you're, you know we don't know, but now all of a sudden you're like a murderer who's sneaking through. So we also have to be on, guard or whatever, aware that you might be trying to sneak through. So now we have to also be enforcement. A lot to ask a border federal agent.
Me personally, I oppose blocking people from coming to America. Just your average person, I mean, who's trying to get ahead. Uh, because we were founded that way. But I also think that there should be points of entry where there can be vetting done to people who are coming for nefarious purposes and whatnot. Uh, I don't, I literally don't give a shit about the wall, but I get the idea.
I definitely give a shit about the wall. I cannot deal with the wall. That seems like such a dumb idea. I can 12 different ways off the top of my head. I hate every idea about it.
Well, I suppose I'm with you there. I mean, I don't care to see it done. A fucking fence would be fine.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got a fence. I guess it has to be there just so you know, like, oh crap, my cows are in Mexico now. These are Mexican cows over here. That's about the only thing that happens on the border besides people walking across. It's nothing. Cows and nothing. Nothing land.
You want to cut the tide of illegal immigration? Uh, cut the services to non-citizens. The free shit. Get rid of it.
Doesn't really make a lot of sense. But yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if Canada was offering, free food and healthcare and money and schooling and everything, a free car and whatever the hell else you'd want when if you went there, even illegally, there'd be a lot of people from here that probably consider that. I wouldn't, because Canada's cold and winter, and I've had all the cold I want. And hell, I don't know. Canada may offer all that shit. They're pretty liberal.
I don't know if they probably want Americans. I don't know.
Well, I've seen that.
I didn't realize it was a situation where just a family is going to walk across the border, and then we're taking it upon ourselves to separate them all up. I guess I could understand why somebody'd have a problem with that, but then I'd like to see what their solution is, because if their solution is set up resorts for people that just decide to walk across the border, where the hell does that pay off for anybody? How is that ever going to work as a solution of people walking across the border? So make a hotel there and let them pay for a freaking hotel, I guess.
Well, I think, you know, there's such an influx at this point down there in that one area. I don't know about the rest of the damn border, but you know, there's a fair bit of waiting time to get these people before whoever the hell they got to go before to see if they can come in or not. And that's what they're separating the kids, or what they were separating kids for, because the kids really didn't need to be involved with that.
Well, I don't think. So let's say somebody who lives in country south of here, who cares what country it is, they look up how to get into the United States, and it says do this and that. And the other thing, it probably says ask, and then it probably says pull out some sort of thing so they can do whatever vetting like they like to do. And then at some point, it probably says, now come on up, right? Like on such and such a date in June, you can authorize to walk across the border, and we'll be waiting for you, and then feel free to do what you want. Right. So that guy went through, or that lady went through that procedure, and, you know, we got to have some sort of welcome or whatever building or door or whatever the hell we need for that. But now, I don't know, 1,000, 100,000, 10,000, some amount of people are just walking up to that door and saying, hey, let us in. Like, that's a whole different thing. Like, we're supposed to just drop everything. Like, we got this procedure set up. I don't know if we need a separate procedure just because they can walk up to it. I'm wondering what the deal was from, like, I don't know, 1870 up until 1970. Like, I don't remember this being a big ass issue until recently. What changed? Is it like massive wars south of here where people are like, let's get the hell out of here. Anything is better than this? Or did something change here where it's like, hey, all we got to do is walk over there and everything's done? Pay for shit.
Most likely it was somewhere in the FDR era when all these social programs really started popping up that this started. Because before that, there wasn't any free money over here. You come over here, you're fine, but you got to work.
Now, people would fucking work all summer, right? And then they'd go back home, and basically when it was cold up here, they'd go back home and take all that U.S. money they made. I don't know what the hell they did with it. Support their families probably down south.
Don't give a shit what they do with it if they earn it. It's theirs.
And who cares if they were taking it down south, because they're probably spending it on shit that they need to live down south, right?
I have never had a problem with people that come and work here and send money home. I mean, or go back home with it after the season's over, whatever the case may be. Which is another reason why, or it's tied into the fact that I don't think that we should only select the cream of the crop to come in here, because that's not really what this country was founded on.
Nope.
You know,
pretty much.
On Ellis Island, read the fucking plaque.
Ellis Island is after World War II, though, right? Or was it before that? It was Industrial Revolution. Anyway, but yeah, it wasn't like the 1700s, but it definitely portrays whatever the feelings of the country, right? The concept of it. Like,
well, the plaque, the whole "Bring me your tired, huddled masses" was a large part of what we were. Now, I didn't say bring me your tired, huddled masses. We'll give them a bunch of free shit, neither.
No, and it didn't say bring your tired and huddled masses that got something to contribute to the file because everybody's got to contribute, comrade.
But yeah, exactly. I don't.
And that might be implied in most societies and stuff, but it definitely didn't say it was a requirement. Like you got to contribute. Like you better be a doctor or some other credential to be here.
I don't. I mean, I can't speak to who came across here on boats and stuff back in the day because I don't know, but I guarantee you they were not all solid, upstanding, brilliant citizens.
Oh fuck no! That's why they started the immigration shit in the first place. Was all the Irish. They hated the Irish, right? They hated probably anybody from the Mediterranean, or they hate anybody of color. They always fucking hate people of color when they get poured into a city, no matter
Yeah,
where the world they're from.
my maternal grandparents and my mom's maiden name would be Deweese, so I'm basically half Irish, half English. At war with myself all the time, evidently.
But on the other hand, there's always been place for them to go, and got the Chinatowns, the Little Italies, and the whatevers that let people get in, transition in, and then the next generation pushes out and becomes homogenous, and adds to the group, and then we just have another kind of whatever influence into the big thing.
This never comes out sounding good, but there's always going to be jobs here that nobody wants to fucking do.
So we got robots.
Well, they ain't good enough to do a lot of them jobs yet.
Yeah.
And robots are too smart to grab the fucking shovel. But, if there's work here that people don't want to do, we got to get somebody in here that does want to do it or is willing to. And who the hell is going to do it if we stop everybody but the doctors and whatnot that are coming in here? I realize that that's kind of racist in sentiment, but that's not the intent. I'm just pointing out that there is reasons that we should allow immigration beyond humanitarian things. We had for a while migrant workers come around here because I don't know if you've ever seen how they made seed corn, corn for the farmers to plant.
Okay.
But it requires people to go through that and detassel all of the female crop of corn so that it's only pollinated with another one. That's how they do the hybrids. And that is not a job for a doctor. That's a job for somebody who's willing to get out there and freeze their freaking ass off in the morning and roast to death by 10:30. And we had migrants come through here one season that I saw them to do that, and they didn't come back.
Yeah, because it was fucking horrible. There's a couple of jobs like that, I'm sure, that are just horrible and nobody wants to come back and do. But for the new people never done it before.
Now, back in the day, it was a job that kids did, 15, 16, 17-year-olds. Because it really isn't hard unless you get sent into a field that's really tall. But, corn evaporate or sweats. And so when you go into a cornfield in the morning, you get soaked. And when it's 70 degrees and you're soaked, it's cold. But by 10 o'clock, it's 85 or 90 degrees, and all that moisture becomes humidity. You freaking roast in it. And I know this because I did it.
And what are you doing? Like paintbrushing the tassels or some shit?
You're pulling the tassels out of the top of the corn stalks on all the female rows.
Oh, you're just killing it so that they can't reproduce on their own.
That's right. They have to be pollinated by the bull rows or male rows.
So it's more like just a repetitive thing as much as like not so much like you're saying, not like brain surgery is out there.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to do it. I mean, you go down these rows, pull every fucking tassel out. If you see a stalk of corn that's obviously different, take it out. That's basically what you need to know.
You're slaughtering plants just because they're different than the rest of the plants.
And the last time I did detasseling, we was working irrigated fields. And if they didn't shut down the irrigation, that was horrible because then you're getting like 56-degree water sprayed on your ass in the mornings.
This is from like a pipe that's up above you?
Yes. Irrigators are great big fucking pipes that have tires every 30 feet or so. And these things just roll around the field. If you're driving through here and you notice that fields look like they're rounded on the corners, that's why, because that's where the irrigation cut is.
Yeah, you look at them from a satellite and they're just a bunch of circles everywhere.
But hell, when I was doing it, the last time I was doing it, we was down at a farm down by Havana, which is like 25 miles away here.
Like Cuba? Yeah, we know.
It was 60 degrees one morning, and they were running the irrigation. And I told the farmer, I said, look, you got to shut that bitch off or I ain't putting my people in that field. It's too damn cold. It didn't do much good because the corn was all fucking wet anyway.
Oh, shit, they got into corn this morning. We should do a corn report because it is pretty early.
I watch the Ag Day every week that I can catch it because it's on at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Where they talk about the price of corn and pork bellies and orange juice and shit.
Yep, pretty much. Speculate on how good the corn crop and bean crop's going to be. But it's just a habit I got into when I was probably 25. There just wasn't freaking anything else on. And I used to like where they, at the end of the show, they would go out and show off a restored old tractor. That's basically what I watched it for in the beginning because I didn't know when they did it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But I got hooked into watching it, and I really can't say why. I got no fucking interest in farming whatsoever. But farming these days, or the farm report, is more about financial shit these days. It's kind of dry and boring bullshit for the most part. So you're going to go see The Incredibles 2?
I will see it, but I have my own movie theater that I go to. Very close.
I actually love the first one.
I've seen the first one, but I only seen it once, so I don't think I remember it too much other than it was a kid's cartoon. 99% of the time I watch a movie, while I'm doing other things. And half the time I'm walking in and out of the room or having a conversation with somebody a lot of times. So, chat or something. So I don't remember movies so much.
Yeah,
Superhero family.
I fall into that a lot myself.
No, never enough ammo. Was telling everybody that it's probably, I think if I remember right, he said it's going to go down in his one of his top like 5 or something movies of all time. Like he is says that it's got the potential to be one of the best movies he's ever seen. Have you seen it?
What?
The Incredibles 2?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. So I have heard really stunning reviews of it. I mean, Matt doesn't go around. I mean, he likes pretty much every movie he ever sees, but he doesn't give them that kind of accolades. So I'm curious to see what it is, just to see how good of a cartoon it is.
Dead Horse is asking what was so good about The Incredibles. The little twists on the all of them becoming superheroes, and the fact that there's a government agency that says, no, you can't do this. You cost us too fucking much money.
Like I said, I can't say too much about the plots. I can't remember, but it's just the drawing of it wasn't my thing. I just didn't like those. I mean, I didn't hate it. It's a cartoon. Who cares? But I don't know. I like a different style of cartoon, I guess.
I don't know that there actually was really a plot.
Well, I remember the kid. Something about the kid was going to be or didn't want to be superhero, and then he ends up saving the day or something. Something about the kid in the video game. Yeah, I can't remember.
I suppose the basic was the kid who was wanting to be Mr. Incredible's sidekick, turning evil and making all kinds of technology to make himself super, if you will. But basically, it was just different twists on the way to look at cartoon heroes as you did from a kid that made it really entertaining to me. Because you never seen the cartoon heroes as a human.
That's true. Like that they have day to day other shit that they got to do, or like, they're just not. It's not like it's just constantly going from.
He comes home and his wife's all over his ass because he went into a burning building and saved people. I don't know. I really like the movie Cars too, but there's a specific reason there, and that's because the animation was so good on the dynamics of the way cars handle and react to things. There was some stuff that was off, but by and large, that's the best animation I've ever seen about cars. They're getting pretty close to the point where they don't need humans in movies anymore.
Have you seen the deal where you can just sample somebody's voice and video now, and then they can just make that person say and do whatever? You just tell it like if it was a cartoon and video game.
I have not, but it doesn't surprise me a bit.
Yeah, I saw something that they can do that with sound already. Like I saw that in some movie once, right? Or not too long ago, maybe a couple of years ago, where somebody says something, fine. Now everything we type just sounds like that guy's saying it. They definitely have that by now, or already, and then you can like buy that. But then I'm pretty sure I saw something that said you could do pretty much the same with video now. Once they get enough video of you, boom, the software can just assume what you would look like from any direction, so they can just make you walk through a scene or whatever.
Damn, that would be impressive.
I mean, I guess they could already do that, but easily, or something.
What would they do with Trump?
Yeah, seriously. And I think that's the sample I saw. Theodore's asking, do you reload shotgun shells?
No, I do not.
I bought a whole reloading setup for like $120 one time. I think it was really inexpensive. So then I bought it mainly so that I'd have it for shit, it's a fan or something. But then once I started shooting a lot, it was cheaper to reload. And then I could make my own loads, and that was the main thing. Like, I forget what it was, because I don't remember anymore. But it was like tiny little 8-shot and then a couple of bigger shots, like not huge, like I was just shooting at birds or clay birds, pigeons, but there was some knack to like putting a little bit of bigger stuff and then a little bit of smaller stuff in with the same thing, and that was something you bought it costs money, and if you reload it, it doesn't cost anything to change what you're loading. So
Duplex loads.
duplex, is that what they call that? I forget what the
Yep.
deal was. I think it was just to give less spread or something, and I forget what the point of it was. But I could do that like for nothing, and that would cost a premium if you bought them.
Does making 44 Magnum shot shells count? Because I've done that. Nah, I don't shoot a shotgun that damn much, man. In the past, what?
How do you make the shot shells? You can buy projectiles that are shot.
You buy projectiles that are just little plastic cups with a lid.
Huh. And then you put whatever you want in there.
Yep. I was using BBs and 8s. But I think I'm going to at some point pull all those because I don't want to shoot steel out of the revolver.
They BBs and 8s? That's fucking horrible.
That's what I had.
Sounds like biological warfare. Disease, AIDS, HIV.
It ain't meant to, shoot ducks. To shoot fucking snakes at your feet.
So it's about $60 I can make them. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. Like Tony's saying, you can buy specialty, I'm sure now off the internet. Back in the day, you could buy them at gun shows, but you could buy specialty, like, are they sabos? Whatever you call like a little plastic thingy that was the size of like a slug, basically. And you'd fill it with whatever you want. They sold them with, I wanted to buy, I never did, but I'd reload them. Basically 2 pieces of lead with a wire going between them. I don't know if there was 2 or 3 in there, and it would be like a bolo. Is that what that's called?
Yeah.
I'd think that'd be cool as shit. But I don't know if it'd really work. I think I saw a video of it on
They
the.
make them.
I know they make them, but I think I seen a video on like their sales thing where, of course, it shoots and it opens perfectly and spins all around and tangles up whatever the fuck they shot it at. But I don't care if they're sales videos; it's gonna always show the perfect one. I only buy 5 or something, 3 because they were like $5 a piece or something crazy. But that's the kind of thing I think I'd load way cheaper than charge per one, especially since once and ruin it, and you'd have to try it. You'd want to shoot it again at least another 2 or 3 times, right?
I was gonna buy a lead load all, and I just don't shoot a shotgun enough to justify it. Hell, I think in the past probably 10 years I've shot shotgun 8 times. I just don't use it. But when I first started getting back into it, I thought I'm going to buy me a freaking reload all and shot. I've got gunpowder and load mine, but it ain't worth the doing it when you can buy 100 rounds at Walmart for $20 for no more than I'm using the damn thing. I kind of half-assed thought the old lady might want to get back into trap shooting, but she hasn't.
But for they're pretty inexpensive. You can usually get the whole setup pretty cheap. So I'd say they're worth having around.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt. I should buy the stuff just to have here in case a worst case scenario shit happens here.
Well, see, I say that, and I'm about to sell mine. So I bought it with that in mind, and now I'm thinking. I mean, it's different for everybody. If you're the place where people are going to go to hang out in a potential bad situation, and there's like going to be multiple people there, I could totally see it. But I figure I can boogie to wherever there is one. I don't need to have one of everything. Town of almost 1 million people, and I know more than one person here, so I can boogie to a place where there is one.
It hasn't been a priority because the simple lack of use. I mean, I've got, I don't know, 180 12 gauge rounds here and like 120 gauge rounds, and I've had that amount for several years. For one thing, the damn 12 gauge kicks so hard it's fucking uncomfortable to shoot. Uh, and that's an effect of losing weight and getting old. Now, it doesn't hurt to shoot when you're out hunting. You don't even fucking notice it. But to do trap or something, that's going to be a long day. I don't like to hunt. Something I'm going to eat with a shotgun.
Damn, this load all thing is only $60.
Yeah, and as far as I know, they work really good.
Mine's more of like progressive.
Well, you got a mech.
Is it red? I thought mine's red, but maybe
Yeah.
it's red.
I think the mechs are red. Got 2 plastic bottles on top of it.
Yeah. Not square like this one is.
If you downfall to the lead low dolls, you got to have one for every gauge because they don't change.
Wow, for 60
One of
bucks,
those,
not that bad.
each one of those you buy is specific for a gauge, and
Are
I
they
don't.
other leads where they have that base you can plug it into and swap it out fairly easily, or do you have to use a lot of counters?
No, I think they mount, and it's just screwed down. You take screws out, swap it out, but I don't know. I've not ever had one. Conversion kit to convert it for all other calibers. Well, that wouldn't be so bad then. See, that just goes to show you that I don't know that much about them. I'm glad you mentioned that because when I was thinking of buying them, I was going to buy 2, one for 12 gauge and one for 20. And I have never seen one of them things in 16 or 410 or 28. I suppose they exist, but I don't know. You would think there would be somewhat of a market for 16 gauge versions because it's starting to get hard to find ammo for those.
Well, and you can get those shotguns for nothing because there's no ammo. So you buy the loader for $70. I guess it's kind of expensive, and then buy a shotgun for less than that probably.
Um, I, I I don't know why the 16 didn't catch on more than it did. It was a little bit better than 20 gauge. I suppose it was too close to 12 gauge in recoil. If you're gonna
Way too close.
suffer, for the recoil, you might as well have the 50 extra BBs in it that you get with 12 gauge.
12 is the one they should have got rid of. They should have gone from 10 to like 20 to 410 or something. I guess.
I wouldn't be opposed to hunting anything with 12 gauge or 20 gauge that I would hunt with 12 gauge. There's not that much difference to me. I mean, in the gun stability. The only reason that I like 12 gauge is because I like the bigger buckshot use. You get, let's see, what is mine, 11 balls per round, where I think 20 gauge version is 9. And I may be wrong on that too, but I know it's a couple different. And, you know, I've had this damn shotgun since shit. Somewhere in the early 80s, I bought it. And I just like the gun. I don't, it's not worth anything. I mean, if I tried to sell, I'd probably get 125 bucks out of it because it's off. Uh, it's hell, it's not even tagged as a Stevens or a Savage or not Savage, Stevens or a Springfield. It's Montgomery Ward's or Sears or one of the catalog stores. Shows how much I look at it. I can't even remember. But, you know, I found them to be the most natural pointing shotgun for me there ever was. I have the opportunity to use my dad's 870, and I don't like it at all. I shouldn't say that. That's not true. I don't like the way it fits me at all. It's a cool shotgun. You don't see too many 870s out there that's got 30-inch full choke barrel and no rib.
I don't know. I like ribs. So.
This guy mixes in a couple of grains of powder in the end of his shot under that crimp. Oh, to give it dragon's breath. Okay, I don't know. That doesn't really do anything for me. Where I would use my gun, I'd have to be concerned about starting a forest fire.
Yeah, I can load up some shit like that and go shoot it in the rain.
I'm taking my gun out in the rain. It might rust.
Doesn't sound like you're doing that every Wednesday. It's just something you do once in a while.
I really don't have that much interest in shooting a damn shotgun anymore.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, you got to have one because it's some kind of tradition, but I'm not a big fan.
My old lady was really into trap shooting or shooting clay pigeons, and she was good at it. And she has her own 20 gauge here, but she's not ever made mention wanting to go, and would go and shoot for $5. So I don't know. I think she's afraid of it now. I think she's afraid it's going to hurt a lot more than it did, and it might because we're considerably older than we were when we were shooting back then.
Well, like you say, it could be a thing, and then that's not hardly enjoyable if you suffer or you're just uncomfortable for a day or whatever.
Well, I've always been more into the long range rifle stuff, which is why I bought that 1895 Winchester, so I could do Marlin. Shit, 1895 Marlin. So I can do buffalo shoots, which is just 200, 300 yard shoots. I was looking for the Quigley type sight for it. Good God, they're expensive.
What do they call it? Buffalo shoots? Is it a buffalo silhouette or something?
You're supposed to use buffalo gun or a gun that's considered buffalo, which is around here. It's the 4570 and 4590. I don't think anybody's shooting a 45 110. But I bought that Marlin just to do that. I have absolutely no other use for that gun but that. And I just wanted it. Not enough to shoot it much because I've shot the thing 2 times since I've had it. I'm generally willing to let other people shoot it, but I ain't.
A few years
I
back,
ain't.
Bob at Tucson Guns bought a whatever Quigley rifle, but it was in 75 120, and then had like a really really crazy fancy like Mexican tooled like leather scabbard, but like the stiff leather so that it wasn't soft at all. Like the gun went in there and it was more like a hard protective case for the gun rather than just like a covering for it. So like almost like a big long leather toolbox for it. It had some accessories and shit in there. And I forget what the boxes were, $85 a piece. We had like a ton. And that thing was pretty neat. Got huge, huge gun. I forget what it cost. It was a lot of money, probably.
So that's the thing, that the guns like that, or the Quigley version of the Sharps or whatever, them things are fucking 11 or 12 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
Heavy as hell.
Super
So
long.
the recoil is considerably reduced. Well, my 4570 weighs 7 pounds. And if you put a fairly warm load in it, you know it. Even light loads, it recoils pretty damn good. It's not uncomfortable to the point where you don't want to shoot it, but the gun is not quite heavy enough. Now, I should load it with a full 9 in the magazine. That would help. And just keep it full, so I got an extra pound of weight there. I'm going to try the tight group loads that are not tight group, dumbass, Trail Boss, that Russ was talking about, and see if that makes it better to shoot, and still the gun does what it needs to do on range. I don't much like the subsonic part, but hey.
I gotta say something off topic, but I just ate into a thing that's gross. So I'm sitting here eating these reject Jelly Bellies. Ever eat them? They're like all the misshapen, ugly looking Jelly Bellies, so they're cheaper.
No, I don't like.
But they're jelly, right?
Yeah.
Get into a licorice one. I don't know where do they get off putting licorice in with jelly beans in the first place? Like, I understand if people want to eat licorice.
You got to question the sanity of somebody who actually likes that fucking taste.
No, that's what I'm saying. You can be weird and like it, great. But what the fuck are they putting it in jelly beans for? They're supposed to be fucking candy and good. Ugh.
That's what my wife picks out of jelly beans. The black ones that taste like licorice.
In order to eat them, you mean? Not to like throw them away?
No, to eat them.
Ugh.
And my thoughts exactly, man. That shit's gross.
I mean, I have eaten it. My grandma did the same thing. She would eat licorice. So I've ate it before, and I've learned my lesson. I don't like that. But yeah, I usually throw them away. This one looked like a purple one.
I used to make catfish bait out of stuff they called anisette. And it's illegal to do now. And it might have been then, but I don't know. It is it's a hog food additive to make whatever the hell you're feeding your hogs more attractive if you're feeding them grain stuff that they don't particularly like. And it is just like super extra heavy concentrated licorice and smell. I mean, it's enough to make you rich. It's so powerful.
For food or something, or for like some other?
It's to mix into hog feed is what it was made for, or livestock feed.
For like some reason, or just to make it more attractive to them?
Make it more attractive to them, because hogs won't really eat soybeans. But soybeans are real potent feed. So if you got this anisette, and there's a name brand, but I'm not going to mention that because I don't want people to go out and look at it or look for it. If you got this additive, they'll eat soybeans. So you get your hogs to market a couple weeks faster. And that's where the whole damn thing with it came from. I mean, but it works on other animals, cattle and horses too. But it's the most ungodly, sickening, licorice smell. But I'll tell you what, it works great on catfish.
Huh. So it's something that makes them drool, like makes them get hungry or whatever.
It's just a new scent to them. Huh. You know, so they come up and see what the hell it is, I guess. But, you know, it's hard to make if you're gagging when you're trying to make it.
I can imagine.
And I found that bullheads, little baby bullheads about 2 inches long, make great catfish bait too. But yeah, licorice sucks.
All right, sorry. Back there, it's just, I thought I was about to eat a blueberry one. I got a mouthful of that. So.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Go back to guns. We had a couple of things we were talking about before, and I got an article that came up from Theodore last night. We had a chat over in Dead Horse had a don't tell, I guess, going for all evening. It just went off air before we started early watch, and Theodore had talked about this news about the murderer in Las Vegas, and I had asked Tony if he'd heard anything about it, and he had not. So I figured we'd wait until the show to talk about this. So it was a good time.
Yeah, but give me a minute. I need to refill my cup. I mean, you could start, but I'll be back in a minute.
Can you hear if I start talking?
No.
Yeah, okay. I'll just get prepped and I'll keep red jelly beans. So basically, I'm now down to the assorted red ones, and I can't tell the difference between cinnamon ones and cherry ones. And I like cinnamon ones, or I mean, I like cherry ones, and I'm not a big fan of cinnamon ones, but better than licorice, so I'll risk it. All right, so I'm Russian rouletting some red jelly beans right now. And we're about to talk about the shit that happened in Vegas, and I've always been skeptical of it. Hopefully everyone has a healthy skepticism of everything, but this one has been weird. So, yeah, Theodore said that he had heard something new. So I looked, and yep, 11 hours ago, some information about this thing. So we're going to talk about that. Has anybody else out there seen that? So Travis is asking about the dissipator ARs. I've never owned one. You'd have to ask Dead Horse, like, some theory or, like, reason why they exist. I can't imagine, because they basically remove the bayonet look. It makes no sense to me. But they looked kind of cool, and I'm tall, so I like the idea of having all that real estate out there. My two-ish concerns would be, that's not a rifle handguard, or is it a rifle handguard on the 16? Is that what it is? So if it's a rifle handguard, then that's a cherry right there. If it's a rifle handguard and you can get handguards, then go for it. I can't see any reason not to, because it's kind of cool looking. But if it's some kind of proprietary handguard, then I wouldn't bother.
Hey, G, can you run through the front page gun channels while I run the grandson over to babysitter?
Yeah. Then we'll talk about that when you get back.
All right, I'll be back in a few minutes.
I'm batting 100 here for all cherries, and they all look really close to the same. So I'm hoping these continue to be these crazy cherries. Wow. Okay, good. So Ed Horst is saying that he knows about what's going on. If anybody wants to jump in, I don't think Tony will mind. Otherwise, I'm going to jump over to the main page of Gun Channels, because people put a lot of effort to post stuff over there. It's not like a YouTube where it's all like, hey, look at me, hey, look at me, hey, look at me. It's more like a collaborative effort to get information out there. Every once in a while, somebody's saying, hey, here's something I'm doing on my channel, or like I was posting these pictures or whatever. But for the most part, it's, hey, here's a live conversation that's going on. Or in this case, yeah, just Father's Day fishing and shooting. And Ghost or Clover doing his chat here. Knives did his chats throughout the day. Yoder had posted this thing about the Swiss, and Theodore was saying something about, he saw something about the middle of this. I don't know what he was talking about, but I could tell from the thumbnail, I didn't watch this, but I could tell from the thumbnail that they're shooting down one of them crazy salt tunnels or whatever they are. So they're weird over in Europe, and they just dig crazy holes for no reason. Probably because of all the heavy metals that they ingest. So they shoot down these holes sometimes. And I think in this video, eventually, they're going to show. This is a massive underground tube, and they have to shoot. They have to lay down on this table. Like he has to lay down on this table. What happened? Are you going to shoot, or do they just talk about it a lot? I don't think they actually shoot in this. So they have to go through a giant underground tube to get to where they have to buy their European ammo, lay down and shoot down another tube. I'm going to mute Tony. Weird over there. Do they even shoot in this video? Is it a shooting video? Come on. How many doors do they have to go through? There's the tube. Finally. So how cool is that? I guess that's where they used to dig salt out of the holes, and then now they shoot down. That's the real story right there. Yeah, cinnamon. So Rick had a show. I didn't see that. Ohio posted. Oh, look at this. So where is it? Somewhere in here, he posts that ammo that he got. So somewhere in here, there's a picture of him talking about the ammo that he got in the mail because the Brownells made a mistake and sent him extra ammo. And he's over here like, hey, Brownell's charging tax, so I'm going to go somewhere else. So I guess Brownells is charging sales tax in certain states now. Man, those cherries are like sour cherries. Then we got Knives posting his chat, me posting some more pictures, and then early watch yesterday. So it looks like we had a couple of things happen, mostly shooting down salt tunnels. Shy B12. All right, well, then we'll go back over here, see what people are saying. Yes, they're selling them as a mid-length with a mag. What? Then how can it be a dissipator if it's a mid-length? I need to see a link. See what we can find. We'll use some internets over here. If that horse knows anything about this, since he's over here. Oh, you guys are already talking about it over here. He's saying that dissipators are rifle length handguards. That's what I thought. On a mid-length barrel, I guess. So that you get handguard all the way out to the edge. So yeah, I guess I could deal with that. You're saying that's on a 16-inch? Selling them as a mid-length with a man pull a handguard for $179. So I guess let's go find out. Oh, I guess you're talking about this 1-in-7 dissipator. Okay, so tell me what to miss out on. How about that? Oh, this one's out of stock, dude. So I guess we'll have to go find another one for you. What's this website work? Barreled uppers? Or do you go to sales maybe? Daily deals? All right, I can't find it. So no idea, but you can post a link now. Let's see if you posted a link. Nice. Close this one now. 179. I think it looks cool. Stainless steel barrel looks stupid, but what are you gonna do? So I think, I don't know, unless Dead Horse says that's crazy, looks like it would be a fun gun to shoot. So he's saying our mid-length gas system, but a FOSS rifle, a handguard, and a A2 FSB. Check my link. So it has a micro gas block hidden under handguard at the mid-length system, and a faux A2 rifle length. So I'm okay with that. I mean, I don't really care about the rifle length gas system. In fact, who the hell would want a rifle length gas system? I don't know if I like the idea of a faux. That's going to mean basically bolt-on gas, or yeah, gas block. I guess that's no. This is just the diameter of it. Do they show what it looks like under? Probably not. Yeah, for 179. What the hell? Does that have a without bolt carrier group? But it's an AR, so you just take one of your other bolt carrier groups and shove it in there. Who cares, right? For 179, it looks like a fun gun to shoot. Like I say, I think it'd be fun to have a rifle handguard on a little 16-inch rail or handguard or barrel. I guess it's stupid for lights and shit, but since it's Mo, you can put stuff out here. I have shit on the front of my Mo, and it stays on there. Mo's ain't Mo money, but they are pretty good fun. They're comfortable. I'm giving it an early watch approval. Jimmy has no idea what we're talking about, but he's giving it 100% thumbs up. Oh, look, you got the extra parts just sitting around. Rifle length systems had issues. They had uncorking. Yeah, exactly. So mid-length is the way to go unless you want an authentic clone build. Yeah, so there you go. So you're buying a stronger build in the long run. Or wait, after all. I'm tired. Hopefully Tony will get back here. See, we already did the main page of gun channels. Yes, let's go over and see what's on 24/7 Gun Show. Have we been posting anything new? Looks like there's 21 auctions. We've got 93 users over there, so that means there's quite a bit of people checking it out and maybe even placing bids. When you head over here, you'll notice that the categories kind of filter, or I guess sort, per which ones are being used. So before, you had a bunch of empty stuff up here. So anyway, you can check out these featured items, which will eventually dwindle away. I turned off the featured thing because it seemed too cluttered. So the hot stuff is, I'm guessing, the stuff that people have been clicking on. And then you've got your newest stuff down here. So some of these are auctions that have relisted. And then got some new stuff. I've been posting some knives. And Clover posted his patches over there. And feel free to post things as trade or looking for, and have some fun with it. So anybody can go over here and you can send people to it to browse and to bid and then buy. There's no interaction with any kind of PayPal system or anything. The closest you get is the ability to put in a PayPal button or a PayPal email address, which turns into a button. But aside from that, there's nothing that you're going to do with me or gun channels. So you can post an auction. It's going to be free for you. You sell something, it's free. There's no transaction fees or no percentage or anything like that. Right now, no one's using it, so it's not a big burden on anything. It's basically being included with the gun channel stuff, and it's a feature that we're offering for gun channels members. So again, you can send anybody to it. Anybody can browse through here and look around. Anybody can bid. Anybody can win. And the only thing is, only gun channels people can put stuff up there. So it's not going to turn into a bunch of weird beef jerky and garbage, because it'll just be gun channels people putting their stuff up for buying and selling. Looks like Tony's back.
Yes, he is.
Good, because I'm sick of blabbing. So I guess I'm gonna have to blab a little bit more because we're good. We're gonna chat about this Las Vegas thing. It looks like Dead Horse had seen something about it, but it sounds like he had heard what we all heard. Go. That they released video showing him going into the hotel room and getting room service to haul bags up over the course of days. And everything I had heard from so far, because it's not a lot, had been that kind of thing, like, oh, the guy in the room, and how he got in the room and what he had in the room, right?
I don't know, but I was just sitting here when you said that Dead Horse had seen something about it. He's describing rifle and gas system on 16-inch barrel. I thought, God damn, he's got a layout of what the guns the guy had.
Oh no! Then we started talking about a gun Travis wanted to buy, an upper Travis wanted to buy over at Palmetto State. So we've been chatting about that. Okay,
I
so
thought, damn, dude, you're too much into that.
if we had that kind of info, then we could at least understand why they'd be concerned about something. But they don't have anywhere near that kind of info. So this is from Theodore last night, and then I looked for it on the internet this morning. 11 hours old, and it says that police body camera video showed the casino, blah, blah, blah. Wait a minute, is this even, oh, I picked the wrong freaking thing to look at.
Hey, fuck, I didn't need to be shown body camera of confusion. Fuck, I saw it on TV.
Yeah, no, I picked the bad one. For whatever reason, that just came out. But what I had heard from Theodore this morning was that there were 2 people in the room with him. Had you heard that?
I had not heard any such damn thing.
Yeah, and that they were reason that, well, and this all according to Theodore. I wish I'm looking for actual confirmation of that with an actual article. The idea is that the reason there hasn't been a lot of information coming out is because they're thinking it was some kind of a jihad, and that they've been investigating the rest of that, and that, yeah, there were 2 people in the room with them, and they were chicks, they were girls, and yeah, who the hell knows what all is going on if yeah, it's turning out that, you know, there was an intent to it, and it was designed to have the consequences that it did in our culture, and you know, the way that the media reacted to it was criminally what's the word, like they knew it was going to happen, like they do things so consistently, maybe that's the word, criminally consistent, like you can literally tune a piano to the way that the media is going to react to something like this. Like any actor or whatever the word would be, like a rogue nation state or a rogue whatever player on the international scene could come to our country and just play our news media like a freaking puppet. And
fucking Russia is a perfect example of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a kind of a theoretical one. This would be literally like, you know, the rubber on the ground example of how they were duped and how they went immediately to their talking points. And if this does turn out to be true, then I believe there should be criminal consequences because legislation was passed. And if they're going to pass legislation based on this kind of hype, then there's got to be freaking ultimate consequences to the representatives that are willing to let themselves be manipulated based on such little actual data. Because again, this is the terrorist winning times 10 if this is the case. So I think it's important not just to go, oh, see, told you, but instead to take it as far possibly the other way, to where they're like, okay already. So for the next 10 years, we just have to allude to you know, the horrible and consequential misrepresentation of this stuff based on, you know, all they care about doing is exploiting it. They're just jumping on it immediately without any kind of info. And I don't think it was like oh, we figured this all out ahead of time. Let's do this and this and this because we can. I think it's just the circumstances that they were willing to go forward even though they had no info. not taken anything at all to any moment or any time to actually consider why they're not getting info. All we're seeing is stuff about the rampage. So it's
At
almost
the end of the deal, if he turns out to be a jihadist, that's great. I mean, as far as our side's talking points, but I would much rather him be a fucking anti-gun shill.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, I mean, I don't want it to be anything, but if I guess that they ignore that kind of thing, it's tough for them to ignore the religion of peace or whatever they call it. Yeah, all I see is 18 hours ago. From June 8th. All right, well, this is super boring just watching me read stuff, so I guess it wasn't that interesting, but it was interesting to hear something new about it. If it turns out that it was something like that, then it'll be interesting to see what the consequences of it all are.
How the hell you spell his last name?
Who? The guy who did the thing?
Paddock.
Yeah.
Stephen Paddock.
All right, well, like I say, I thought there was going to be more to that one, but I didn't have any kind of research or anything, so I wasn't able to find anything right now. Dead Horse is saying that the security guard, blah, 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 like whatever the details were. And now footage is showing that those details probably couldn't have happened. And that's, again, I mean, that's the kind of thing that, oh, well, you're a tinfoil hat as soon as you question anything that doesn't seem to make sense. But on the other hand, if they are trying to pursue some kind of investigation and not, it wouldn't be conducive to that investigation to just start blabbing every single detail of everything just because people are curious. There's no need to public to know necessarily. If someone had a need to know, I'm sure they could petition the courts to get the information, privately, to whatever satisfy their need to know. But for the rest of us who are just casually interested or whatever, I guess I can understand why they're going to try to be whatever. What's the word when you're trying to be discreet, I guess, to let investigations pan through. But the goal of that, as soon as the investigations pan out, should be to let everything go public, right?
I posted a link inside chat G-Webs.
And is this a newer one again? Last month, May 26th. Untold. Yeah, 3 women. So maybe this just wasn't new news. Maybe Theodore was just telling me about it, and it's first I'm hearing about it. Huh.
I don't know. That's what popped up when I searched for In the Room with Stephen Paddock.
Yeah.
This report saying that woman that he was with, his wife, girlfriend, whatever the hell she was, is one of the 3 women, but there was 2 other ones.
All right. Well, so yeah.
Oh, and one of the escorts that they think this might be turned up missing. Perfect.
Yeah, so very interesting. So, I guess so. We'll see what happens with that. It is the 21st, so there's a couple going on in the world of.
Now, granted, this is from a source that I have no idea if they're legit or not.
That Intel Hub, yeah, it's tough with the amount of clickbait type of ads on it. If they are a legitimate news service, then they need to rethink their medium there, because that all that clickbait type advertisement makes me think that they're out there just for the scratch, like they're just looking for the money, and that means that their reporting is questionable if they're the only source. I don't think necessarily it's because they got such great investigation as much as they're just, honest.
Most news sources I go to have all that shit on, like TV stations and whatnot.
Yeah, but I'm saying the flavor of the ads are pretty cheesy. Like, click here for bigger boobs, or like, what did you done to text her differently, and that kind of shit is different than like, buy Wall
Male
Street.
enhancement.
Yeah, male enhancement's different than like, here's a legitimate like sausage of the month club, or like here's some service from Netflix, like a more of a mainstream type of, I don't know if legit's the word,
Well,
but
now, come on, man. The article dealt with these women being escorts, so maybe those ads are apropos to that particular opinion.
according to the topic.
It is Vegas. It is legal.
I'm pretty sure we talked about these yesterday, but I'll just throw them out there for anybody that might not have or caught yesterday's show. Today is 21st. That means it's William Ruger's birthday. Bill Ruger is born today. He's 86.
I just want to bring up the Browning again.
Yeah, definitely. Baby Browning was born today, June 21st, and unfortunately Thompson died today. So brought one died on he died on the 1940. Oh, he was born.
Who the hell was that?
Thompson. I invented the Thompson.
Who the fuck was that adventure writer?
Adventure writer Ernest Hemingway?
Motherfucker. No. This guy was kind of Hunter S. Thompson.
Oh, okay. What about that guy?
Nothing. I was just thinking when I can't hardly read it when you're sharing it, and I just seen the Thompson. I couldn't see what was above it. And first thing that came to my head was Hunter S. Thompson.
Ah, okay. That would be a good one to put in here. I read his books when I was a kid for sure.
Oh, kid's gone. It's quiet here. Tomorrow, the kid goes to his step grandma and grandpa's house. I was actually surprised when they volunteered to take him for the weekend. They're good people, but the kid's not their grandkid. But that's fine by me. I mean, I'm sure he'll have an entertaining time with them because, like I say, they are good people. Back when my kids were little, my dad would take my eldest daughter for weekends and whatnot, but he never took any of the other ones.
Because she was older and wasn't as bad as like a little kid anymore?
They're a freaking year apart, man. And she's like 5 or 6 years old, and hell, they were all housebroke, pretty much.
Well, that's the thing. I see a real old guy not wanting to have to deal with diapers and all that, but once they're like self-sufficient, then then it's fun to be a great grandpa, I imagine.
And finally, I got to the point where I'm like, Dad, I've got 4 kids. If you don't take all 4 of them, you ain't taking any. And I think when I said that, he meant all 4 at once, or he thought I meant all 4 at once, and I didn't. I just meant you're grandparent to all these kids, not just that one. And he never took them after that.
I got my friends' kids, but whenever I think about like, these kids should go out camping and learning stuff. They're at least learn how to make fires and whatnot. Learn what it's like to go camping, so that
The
the idea of
most
sleeping outside doesn't terrify them. But these kids got no ambition to do anything like that, none at all.
the most enjoyable time I ever spent was the first couple of times I took all of my kids camping.
When they're all
I
little,
mean, yeah, we're talking the youngest would have been 3. So, then that means that the next one would have been 3 also. And then we'd had 4 and 5. But the wonder in these kids at uh, we joke about it now, but our youngest was absolutely fucking freaked out by pine cones. And where we went camping, they had these pine cones that were about the size of 2 hand grenades end for end. They were fairly good sized pine cones. Well, hell, she'd never been around such a thing. And these things are laying all over the ground. She's trying to figure out what kind of bug they are. Just freaking out, And it's those little things, that were just such a great thing to experience with the kids.
fireflies.
We got them around the house, so that's nothing. Boat rides with me, the old lady, and 4 kids and a bloodhound in the boat. Running up and down the Kaskaskia River was another one that was just one of those days that was perfect. We weren't doing any fucking thing special. I don't think we just went for a ride on the river. I don't think we had any fishing gear with us or what fucking room in the boat with that damn dog. But the dog was with it too. I mean, he'd get up on the bow of the boat and sit there. Because my boat on the bow, it had a deck. It was small but wide, flat bottom boat. That dog would just sit there with his ears flapping in the breeze. What breeze you could get going about 30 miles an hour. And you could see the dog was happy. And the kids were just same way, except their ears don't flap. If you out there got little kids or grandkids or whatever, neighborhood kids that might want to go along, the wonder of them seeing things for the first time is just one of the most spectacular memories ever. I think now I'm trying to think of my first camping trip. That's a hard one. It would have been when I was about 8, I suppose. We went up to northern Wisconsin up to a lake up there that my family used to go to every year. And for somebody who doesn't particularly care for fishing or fishing related stuff, I had the best time of my life up there at that point. And I can still remember it. And I caught what would have probably been the state record bluegill up there. And I ate son of a bitch.
Talk about when you're a little kid. You're talking about
yeah, I would have been about 8 years old. This bluegill was shit. Was laid on my hand. It would have went part of the way up my arm. Weighed over 3 pounds. And I cleaned it. And my uncle said, "God damn," he said, "that's probably a state record fish." But too late. I ate it. It was good.
Yeah, we used to go up. I can't remember not camping. So my one grandparents, we would go to like a fishing resort type of thing, like a week or more, 2 weeks, I guess. And then my other grandparents had a camper, so we'd go camping. So I think long as I've been alive, I've been dragged around camping. And then as soon as I could, I would be sleeping in a tent instead of wherever they were sleeping. And then I remember catching a little bluegill too. We would catch panfish for lunch and stuff. Caught some big ass one. We took it back, and I think at the time it was probably like a weekly thing. But I don't know if it's the biggest fish ever. Nothing, but
that's probably what he was getting at too. I don't think this would have been the state record. I think it would have been the biggest this year, some shit like that.
But yeah, when you're a little kid and you catch a big fish and you bring it in yourself, like you're saying, and it's like yours, and then you get back and you get some recognition for it, fucking pretty cool.
And I only got some bitch because I was too lazy to walk back to camp because the bastard tangled in a dead fall tree down in the water, and I waited out to untangle it. But we went up there. I know I went up there 3 different times. Once when I was like 8. I think there was once when I was 7. Because the first time we went, we stayed in a military surplus tent. Great big bastard. Well, it was great big to a 7-year-old. And then the second time we stayed in we had one of the little Jayco pop-ups. And the last time I was 16 because I got to drive around up there. My uncle let me take his truck and drive it around. Because I fucking wasn't interested in fishing at 16. Not at all. But I was interested in driving and going and looking at stuff. And it's a surprise to me that I think about it that my uncle would let me take off in his new truck. Me having my driver's license for
months or weeks.
Month.
There was a place that we would go up in Minnesota, between Minnesota and Canada, and there was like a lake or something. You'd take a big lake, and then there was like these portages between the lakes. It was a pretty long one. If I remember right, there was just this truck, and like everybody's. So if you were there and you had a big enough boat, and you'd throw it on the back there and drag it, or you'd drive the thing to the other side, and then if somebody was on that side needed it, we'd go back the other way. So it was just this like, and they would get it out there in the middle of the winter, like when the lakes froze over. So during the summer, it was just in the middle of nowhere. So there wasn't any, you couldn't steal the truck. There was nowhere to go with it. But I think that was the first time I ever got to just drive because they were, I was a little tiny ass kid, barely reached the pedals or whatever. And then, as long as you didn't like gun it into the lake on the other side, you pretty much couldn't do anything. It was in ruts, it just it was almost like driving a train.
Yeah, some of the childhood memories are just fucking spectacular, and it kind of makes you sad that that your kids or grandkids are never going to experience this. Because hell, the whole northern Wisconsin has changed from the time we were up there. It was still pretty much backwoods when we were there. I mean, there was some resort communities in the area, but not just the whole damn fucking area of one big resort. And I haven't been down to southern Illinois to Kincaid Lake lately. Probably should go, but it's a 5-hour drive, and I don't want to go 5 hours to sleep in a tent. But it still pretty primitive down there. When we was down there, I hope that hell it's remained that way. I'm pretty sure it will because it's all surrounded by Shawnee National Forest. Feds tend to frown on you putting up convenience stores and malls and shit on their property.
So my grandma on the one side had the grandpa, I think, who was in the Civil War, and his brother, and they gave them both, but they gave them 40 acres back then. And we gave them their land for the Civil War, and it was in Shawnee National Forest, and then at some point they took it back.
Well, I thank you for relinquishing your land, man.
Yeah.
Nice place.
I don't think they got anything for it either. They were not super happy about that when I remember the story.
Actually, when I lived down that way, I lived right outside of Belleville, and I never made use of Shawnee like I should have. I was too fucking busy. We got to go on maybe half a dozen camping trips in the 4 years I lived down there, and the occasional boat ride, but I never went. Well, yeah, I did go down to. We went out on that lake with the boat.
What's that tiny little town right at the tip of Illinois?
Cairo.
Have you ever been down there lately?
Yes. I haven't been down there for 20 years.
So I just happened to be down there whenever I was driving around in last year, and it seems like if we were going to make a gun channels town, like that might be the town right there. It's right in the middle of everything. Got all them rivers and stuff to fish on, and I bet you could go in there and buy that whole dang town. There can't be but 5 businesses still in existence there.
Well, the problem with that whole damn town is that every year, Mississippi and the Ohio decide to make southern Illinois a fucking swamp.
Okay, so it floods all the time.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't know if the town itself floods.
Well, that might make because it seems like it's gone, like it's abandoned.
I have never been down there in a flood, but I know that the rivers flood pretty much every damn year.
Well, I can imagine back in the olden days when it's better to be right next to the water, it was probably more of a big deal to have a town down there so they could worth keeping it up. But yeah, if you don't really need to be next to the water for anything these days, then for just everything, you got highways and shit. And
That
towns that cost shit tons of money to exist.
whilst I'm thinking about it, that flooding situation is an odd thing because last year or the year before, the Merrimack River flooded really bad in Missouri. And the first time since my life that I know of, the Interstate 55 was closed on one side because the water was up on the bridge. And that was just from the Merrimack. And the Mississippi wasn't really in flood at that point. It was, but I mean, not major. I've seen it way worse. It's weird how that works.
I don't know why they can't just, next time they're fixing 40, put a big giant pipe underneath of it. Whenever you start getting too much water on the Mississippi, just pump it all into Colorado or whatever that lake is, one of them lakes on the Colorado.
I have no idea. It would certainly be, great for areas like Panhandle area of Texas and Oklahoma where they're about to burn up because it's a drought.
True. They could peel off water anytime they wanted along the way. Have just big series of lakes that you keep filling up and a big windmill up over the divide.
It never worked because humans ain't very good at sharing.
We do it with the Colorado water now.
But
That would
I live down there. You know where Chester's at?
No.
Anyway, I live down there on the other side of the river from Chester in a little town.
Where are we talking, Illinois?
Well, Chester's in Illinois. I was on the Missouri side in a little town named Perryville, where I was in an even littler town called Brewer. And I remember going down to the Mississippi and seeing it being 3.5 miles wide.
Holy shit. Normally it's like a mile, right?
I don't even think it's a mile there at Chester. Might be.
Okay, so normally it's a mile at its biggest point. 3 miles is massive.
Yeah, it had come up high enough in, I believe it was 73, that it was all the way from bluff to bluff, basically. And deep. I mean, up where we crossed the actual protection levee, it was right up to the top of the levee, and that had to be 8 feet, and that was at 3 miles away. I guess they got it significantly worse last year. they had to evacuate several towns down there, small towns, little bitty ones, because it was so damn high. But it wasn't high at the same time as the Merrimack flooding the interstate. It's kind of baffling to me how that works. I remember, messaging some of my friends that lived down there, being sure that it was all right last year. Damn, who the hell's flapping jaws in chat?
I
That's you.
had a link before. Nobody wanted to jump in, so I was just saying.
Hey, jump in here or sit there and shut the fuck up. One or the other.
Well, I'm going to have to wrap it up at some point. I'm winding down here.
Just get you freaking Jolt or whatever today's modern caffeine enhanced soda would be.
Well, I've been drinking coffee, but this is, like I say, I'm getting myself to where now I can crash out here. I'll wake up probably just in actually the hottest part of the day, but at least I'm starting the day in the hottest part, and it starts getting cooler and cooler instead of getting right into noon and being the hottest part of the day.
I don't have anything left on my to-do list, so whenever you want to wrap up is fine.
All right. Well, I will say thanks to everybody for watching. I'm sure Knives will have a chat going on here for too long. And if anybody's got anything to send to the show, early watch effort, Tony's email address.
Early watch IL, all lowercase letters, all one word, at gmail.com.
Has anybody sent anything in recently?
I haven't got anything new since Monday or Tuesday.
Sure some of that's a factor of us being not consistent with shows. So just to let you know, we are planning to do it every day. So that is our goal. So just keep sending stuff in. If we miss a day or something, it's just matching schedule or something happens. But our plan is to be here. So I'll keep sending stuff to Tony. We'll continue to relay that and hopefully amplify it, get people aware of stuff. And did we talk about on air? Did we talk about your county? I don't know if we did. I think.
Oh no, we did not. The Sanctuary County thingy is coming up for vote the next full board meeting here for my county, and hopefully, I'm thinking I'm going to go to the board meeting. I got to look up here when I get done when it is, but hopefully the next time or around the first of the month, we'll be able to announce that Tazewell County, Illinois, has become a gun sanctuary county also.
Very cool. And I'm assuming if your county's thinking about it, it takes a certain amount of time, then that means probably more. So hopefully whenever your county does do it, it won't be one more. It'll be or 6 or 8 or more. You'll have 20% counties.
I don't know how many we got now. We're close.
Well, the last time it was 15 that I remember, but I'm sure, like you said, some of them are in the works right now. So next time it tabulates.
We've even had a few cities declare their sanctuaries.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
County doesn't want it, but they're saying, fuck it.
I don't think that, our county board, the ripple in it right now is the fact that they don't want to tell their employees to break the law. But, my thoughts is we're already breaking the law by allowing marijuana facilities here. So, let's not be hypocritical. Let's go all out. Guns and dope. That's Tazewell County.
Yeah, or basically go ahead and acknowledge, that you're officially saying we're not going to just blindly pay everything. That's whenever there's certain things that are shall not be infringement. We're not going to do.
Right, and the thing is I'm not particularly that worried about what the county does as far as deciding to enforce or not. It's just the fucking statement of all these Illinois counties saying that they're not going to stand with Chicago.
Yeah, great. Because I mean, this is an important one, and I think that's one of the reasons that it's overlooked sometimes when we talk about being Second Amendment advocates. You know, the Second protects the First, sure, but the Second leads the way for all the other initiatives. So a free individual, someone who's understands that they have rights, is empowered to then say, why doesn't my mom or my sister or my daughter or my wife have rights? That's how this country brought women's rights to the official forefront, where other countries just sat around doing nothing or did worse. And that's something else newsworthy. Today or yesterday or tomorrow, maybe the first of the month, is the first time they're going to be able to allow women drivers in Saudi Arabia. So these other countries,
I was just thinking that.
Awesome. Other countries are so awesome. They're just now allowing women to drive. Come on. What's up with that? All right.
I would.
Go ahead.
I will send him a copy of it for him to post. I don't know how to screen share it, but I'll email him a copy of the Illinois map that shows who's doing what.
Oh, right on.
But it'd probably be. I want to see what happens at the board meeting.
Yeah, be interesting.
So
you go.
You know, that's where I'm at right now. I'm hoping that we get like 100 of 102 counties, but we won't. We might possibly get 80. But it's going to take time.
And I guess that's where I was going. The more and more you get on there, the more obvious it is that the counties are not locked up with the city. And like I said, maybe that'll encourage them next time the city wants to put some stupid dictate out on any topic, any infringement on anything. Counties can look to this. Wait a minute, we got together on the Second Amendment. Let's tell them F you to this tax, or let's tell them F you to this. Cool.
That is, yeah. I from the day this started there, that I found out that this is starting with Effingham County, I thought this is a fantastic idea if we can get enough counties to go along with it. I mean, it's newsworthy when one does it, but if most of the counties in the state do it, it points a big finger at Chicago as the ruling elite that's controlling the state. You know, because if the rest of the counties in the state say, we don't want this, I don't know, I just think it's a good visual, if nothing else.
For sure. Like I say, it's a rally cry or a rallying point that, like you say, you get that infographic going that shows how many people in the state are against whatever their crazy idea are. All right. Well, we're just repeating ourselves. I think.
Yep.
All right.
Good day, everybody.
We'll see you tomorrow.